What's up, my A-listers? It's your girl Alishia here, and I am back with another hair tutorial, and this one actually ended up turning out super cute. So what you'll see me doing here is I take the strand apart. So I looked at the end and got one of them is shorter than the other, so you just pull that apart and then you just unwind it in the opposite direction that it's twisted to get it apart. And once you finish doing all of that, it should come all the way apart, so you should have one long piece like you're about to see here. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So now I am working on freshly washed hair. Of course, I didn't blow dry it. I wanted to see how the style would turn out not blow dried. So I'm currently taking all of my hair down, and then I will part it to get it prepped for the style. And then once I've got the sections parted into two, it'll just be two sections on each side. Once I get that done, then I'll start my detangling process, and I'll link the hair that I use down in the description box below. But it's the same hair. If you saw my bohemian braid tutorial, it's the passion twist that I used in those braids. I'm using those here for this style. So I slowed this part down for you guys, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But I went to the front of my hair, parted out two pieces, and then I twisted around each other. So now the front piece is now in the back, and the back piece is at the front. And then you add hair just a little bit to your new back piece, so you can see that happening right there. And then I will twist that once again, just like that, and then you'll add hair to that new piece that's at the back. And then I'll keep doing this at normal speed so you guys can kind of get a feel of, you add hair and then you twist it, and then you just add a little bit more hair. So that's basically all you do for two strand twist. You just do that all over, or all the way till you get to the back, and it's the same thing once you get to the back. You'll twist your two strands. You'll always have two strands. Add a little section of hair like you see me doing now, and then twist. And you'll see me using kind of both my hands, but one hand, the hand that's adding the hair, should basically always have like a second of rest. So you'll see when I twist it here, okay, and then both sections are held by that one hand, and then you see me adding hair. So one hand will basically always be free for a moment, but the more hair you add, obviously the thicker it's going to be. So if you want to, I would do it slow first, that way you can get a feel for it and then keep on going. But I end up speeding the rest of this up. But that's basically all that you do for a two strand twist. And you want to make sure, as you kind of see, you want to make sure that you're holding your hands kind of close to the back of your head, because wherever your hands are, that's the way that your braid is going to lay. So you'll see me, as I get closer and closer to the back, my hands start, or I try to keep my hands kind of close to my head. And that way when the two strand twist lays, it'll lay, or it'll fall the way I want it to fall. You don't want to hold it towards the front of your head, because then you'll get a braid that's close there, unless you're doing it that way. But you see, I've added my hair in, still just 2 strands, so still adding hair. Now I'm at the back, and then I'll add it to one section, twist it around just like always. I just now have the passion twist added in the mix. So if you want to, you can do it where you add 1 strand of the passion twist at a time instead of adding it all together, kind of like I did here. But I end up just twisting it around itself and then grabbing my shining jam, putting a little bit of that on there just to slick my real hair and the fake hair together a little bit more seamlessly. And then I'll put a rubber band on the end to kind of keep my hair in place. And that's pretty much all you do. And bada bing, bada boom, put on a little bit more shining jam to kind of disguise your hair a little bit, and you're done with the first little section. Now I wanted to clean up the middle part that I have going from the front to the back of my head up a little bit, so that's why I went ahead and took out the twist that I did on the other side of my hair, because I had already kind of sort of detangled my hair and then twisted it up to keep it kind of detangled, and then I just detangled it once again, I guess you could say, as I was going through the style, just to make sure that it was fully detangled. But I hadn't cut my hair yet at this point, so that's why you'll sometimes see me going through my hair and kind of pulling it apart, because I've got just a couple of single strand knots that you'll see that you get once it's time for you to cut your hair, and that's kind of an indication of, okay, it's about time for me to trim my ends again. But that's why you'll see me go through and brush my hair as often as I did, and even then still kind of take my time with my hair, just because I wanted to make sure, or since I knew I still had my single strand knots because I hadn't trimmed my ends yet, I wanted to make sure I wasn't pulling out too much of my hair by trying to be heavy-handed and kind of rush through it. So the top section of my hair was pretty much the same. I didn't change my methods. I still separated 2 strands from the top of my hair, twisted it around, and then added pieces of my hair little by little until I got to a point where I could start adding in the passion twist. But I did notice that I had a couple more single strand knots at the top section more than I did at the bottom section. So that's why you'll see me kind of going through and like raking my fingers through instead of just trying to pull it apart, because you never want to pull single strands apart. And then, but I will say I had to take a break a little bit, because shucks, holding your hands up at this angle makes you tired. Or maybe it's just me and my little noodle arms, I don't know. But still going through, adding the hair little by little, taking my little break, and then you'll see me add in the hair. I use the 5 strands instead of just the 4 that I used on the bottom section, and I like the result better. So I would say if you want the full look, definitely go for 5 strands at the start. So I end up finishing this half of my hair, and then I'll finish the other half of my hair off camera but I put a rubber band on that section when I run out of my own hair, and then I put another rubber band to keep the two sections together so that I could have one full kind of look. Alright y'all, this is the final look. 2 strand twist with feed-ins. I used the passion pops that I used from my last video to put these in. So now I'm just going to put some mousse on it, and we're going to call it a day. And then at night, I'm just gonna wrap it with my satin scarf and then put on my satin bonnet and call it a night. But that is all. Well, let me give y'all one last 360 here. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's mad cute. Mad cute. But that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to my subscribers. You know I love y'all, and I appreciate your support, and I will see y'all in my next video, y'all. Bye.